But raise your hand if your parent knows what you actually do.
And we still call our vibes the vibes.
El jueguito ese. Like if it's like a playtime.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Vibe Chat, a web series where we get real about our personal and professional lives. I'm Caroline.
I'm Alfred.
I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Cheryl. And for this episode, we are getting real and reflecting on life after college.
I haven't finished college yet. So, what were some of the feelings and concerns you had when you were graduating, and do you still have them now as graduates?
One of my biggest fears was being unemployed, and 2 years later, I'm unemployed. However, now that I've graduated and I'm in it, it's not as scary as what I thought it would be. Like, we all have this vision of what life after college will be like, but it really is not as bad because you did get a lot of skills and you don't walk out of college with nothing.
For me, some of the feelings that I had was, since I declared one of my majors late, which was communications, I felt so behind. And I also felt unready for the real world. I feel like our whole lives, our parents are telling us, go to college. And you just feel like your life's gonna have a meaning after you finish college. But little do you know, it's like starting all over again, and learning to navigate on your own and finding a job was so difficult. I totally still feel the exact same feelings that I felt when I graduated, where I don't know what I want to do with my life sometimes. It's gotten a little better as far as me diving into things that I like and kind of knowing what I like and what I don't like, but sometimes I still feel like I'm thrown in a lake and I'm just swimming and trying to stay afloat.
So some concerns were also like not being employed. I went through this like moment of depression because I was like internship, two part-time jobs, and then going to school. And I know a lot of us did that. But for me personally, it really impacted me when I like went from all of those things to nothing. Right after graduation, like I literally just was at home applying, which is also like a lot, it's time consuming, but that's all I was doing and probably a part-time job. So I think it really hit me like in depression, but also like after, even when I got a job, it's like, well, now we don't get vacation time. So I still kind of have like feelings of like, wow, I'm just working to advance my career, but when do I have time for myself? When do I have time for a vacation without having to ask for permission? So I think those feelings might never go away, but it's a mindset. I believe that it's whatever you think of it, like whatever you tell yourself the journey is. If it's gonna be great or bad, that's what it's gonna become your reality.
So, for question number 2, what was the hardest and the easiest part of navigating life after college?
All I can think about is hard stuff.
I couldn't think of the easiest stuff.
I don't think there's anything easy in life. Especially coming from like a Latino family who couldn't really help me with anything in college, like from the start, from the application process, from like getting a permit for my parking, like all of those things are so hard. So I think it's still very difficult. I think this is just so much that we have to learn, like not just schoolwork, but we had to learn the process, the politics behind everything. Like, how do you talk to someone? Like, do you approach your professors? And I think that goes like after college, like how do I speak with my employer? How do I ask for a raise? How do I properly like have conversations with people where they understand me, but I'm also not coming off in a rude way? So all I can think about are negatives, but I'm sure I'll figure out a positive throughout our conversation.
Y'all are giving me more anxiety than I already have.
Sorry.
I think echoing a little bit of what Cheryl said, I think what was difficult after college was making personal connections, professional connections to be specific. You quickly realize that in order for you to get a job, you need to network. And when I graduated, I didn't have any of that. So that was definitely a struggle as far as just feeling unprepared. A little bit about what Cheryl said, in that we don't have professional connections. We're not really well versed as far as negotiating pay, knowing about our benefits, 401ks. So it's very difficult trying to learn that for the first time, especially if you're first generation. As far as easy, I'm also having a tough time trying to think of something that was easy, but I think personally for me, it was having supportive parents. I think that really helped me go out and try to achieve my goals without having that pressure of my parents asking, where are you going? What are you doing? How come you're not home? So I really appreciated that, and I think that helped this struggle a little bit better.
I think one of the easiest things for me has actually been applying what I learned in school now to like real life, which is not just like what I learned in my classes, everything you need to know about the industry that you're going into, but in college I also learned about like how important social capital is. And like social capital is basically your network. Who you know is like a currency. It's very valuable, and it's probably what's most valuable in finding a job. So everything I learned about like, you know, how to have my resume, how to network, how to like show off what I learned in school when like doing job interviews, all of that has been easy to apply thanks to college. But what has been hard for me personally has been like the discipline that I had while in school. Like now that I'm not in school, I technically don't have deadlines for my personal project. Like there's so many personal projects I want to do, but like because I don't have like a due date, they're taking longer than they would have in school. So that kind of discipline I miss a lot from college.
That's facts right there. I feel like you really need to have self-discipline after you do things, or else nothing's gonna get done.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I'm still in school, but whatever works for me when professors are like, oh, you can just turn in at the end of semester. I need to put deadlines for myself because if not, I'm gonna end up doing the project the night before.
I did my projects like the night before in college, and I probably still do that now. I feel like it just motivates me. I don't know what it is. It's really bad, a really bad trait, but hey, just being honest here. But I wanted to echo on what Jennifer said. The positive and the easiest thing coming out of college would be my parents' support too. Even though they didn't understand like the procedures and like things that I needed help with, they didn't put this pressure on me to like be a doctor, to be a lawyer. Even when I was unemployed, like I would cry and I'm like, but I don't want to fail you. Like, and I felt like I was failing my parents, but they told me like they were just proud of me that I finished college, and they were they were more understanding than I was for myself. So I really, really appreciate that. And I think that's why I feel open to like pursue what I really, really am passionate about instead of like trying to please them all the time with like a career that I really didn't want to do.
But raise your hand if your parent knows what you actually do.
They don't understand.
I'm like, do they know? Do they know?
I told someone, I'm like, I work for this company, and they're like, ¿Qué? ¿Qué es eso? I'm like, it's okay, don't worry about it. I just make videos.
My parents we're almost at 2 years and they still call our vibes the vibes. They're like, oh, ¿cómo sigues con the vibes? And we're like, Mom, we have
Be like, son las vibras.
I'll tell my mom like, oh, I have a meeting with my like little company, like my little media company. She's like, oh, okay. Like, like if it's like a playtime for me or like a club or something.
Parents feel like all of our like projects are games. El jueguito ese, ¿qué pasa solo en la computadora jugando? No estoy jugando, estoy haciendo deberes. I'm studying. Okay, so for our third question, what is a lesson you feel that you can only learn as a college graduate?
I think you can learn what you learned in college anywhere. I don't know. That's my opinion. Like you can go on YouTube and like learn something, but I think it's like having a community that like supports you and pushes you. I think that's the important part. Also surrounding yourself with people who are interested in the same thing that you are, and that's what college provides. It's a hub of students that are passionate about filmmaking, are passionate about journalism, whatever your passion is, like you're with a group of people who also want to learn the same thing. And I think that's really important because you all push each other towards that goal. I think that's the most important like thing and lesson from college that you can get, but that you can't really get anywhere else. And of course, networking, resume building, connections with professors who have connections in the industry. so much free food from clubs that like are are like not using all their food. I feel like there's a lot of benefits, but it comes with a lot of hard work.
I'm going to add to what Cheryl also said. She kind of tapped on two that I was going to talk about. One is that after you graduate, it doesn't mean anything. Everything that you worked for the past 4 years, all the clubs that you were in, welcome to starting over again. You'll realize once you get into your industry that some of the stuff that you learned in college, sure, like in theory, some stuff you kind of know, but you're not going to know anything, and you're going to start from scratch, and you're going to continue to have to learn and educate yourself, whether that be through books, articles, just experience. And I'm not trying to diminish getting a 4-year, but sadly, all those grades don't matter. Everything that you did there, sure, it can help you land an internship, but after that, it's irrelevant. And the second
or
thing,
if you want a master's, right?
Oh,
If you
yeah.
want to get your master's in, like...
right, because I know some people will require that to continue, but I mean, personally, for communications, you don't need one if you don't want one. And the second was going to be that you are not going to get anywhere without connections. You really need to network, and your diploma, like I said, it's people don't know what you do, what you want to do. You need to really get out there and say what you want to do, so that people can help you, because otherwise you're gonna have a difficult time trying to obtain a job, because you're not gonna go anywhere without networking. If that's anything you take away from this podcast, is to network.
Yeah, I feel like college is just like a really expensive piece of paper that's required nowadays. So like, I personally wouldn't recommend, just going to classes and having that be your only college experience, just like in and out. Because to me, what I got most of my money's worth from, what was most valuable from college, was finding myself through exploring different classes and different things like mass media and ethnic groups, like made me discover a whole new passion of mine, and doing all those things, as well as finding different communities. I was part of a cappella groups. I was part of a Latino communications group, and meeting all these people not only helped me professionally and further my career by creating a network, but I learned a lot about myself through these brand new relationships and friendships that I made. So the college experience, I think, is what is most valuable. Make it an experience.
I want to add to that, because Caroline, you touched on something good, that like it made you become, like it helped you become who you are. And if you guys would have met me like in my freshman year, I was so shy, like, girl, I was like a little turtle. And so now I'm like in front of the camera speaking, and I studied broadcast journalism. So it's like a safe hub where you can like explore what you really are interested in, and you fail with other people who are also failing with you, so you don't feel like as bad. But then you also have like that drive to be better than your classmates, or as good as your classmates. I like a little bit of competitiveness, so that always like helped me like just keep going and like get better at what I was passionate about.
So, short story short, failure unites people. College is expensive. Do your best.
And basically, once you graduate, things are not easy. You're gonna keep hustling.
Fair enough.
It sounds so horrible.
We keep it real here at Vibes Chat.
There's hope. Hopefully.
You are our
No, there is, yeah. You're a hope. But I wanted to add to that, all of the jobs that I got were through a connection. Like I can't even count how many internships I did, and they were like not paid and paid with like big companies. And yet I graduated, I applied, I knew people that were hiring, not one callback. I got my first job because I knew someone, an intern that was offered that job. So it's like, if I didn't talk to her, if I didn't like make sure she was okay, like, hey, how's your internship going? Like I would have never heard about this opening. I would have never really like started my career the way I did. So it is a lot of networking with your own classmates. It's not really a lot of like, it's a balance of both, not just like a whole bunch of professional people, but also like classmates who are in your grade level, a little bit older than you, that can vouch for you when it comes to a job opening. That I think is really important.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.
And don't forget to follow Our Vibes Media on TikTok and Instagram.